Hello learners, welcome to NIOS Studios. I'm Ishani Uppal and today we will be discussing about the topic My Family and I. So family is a very vast concept. I'm sure all of us relate to it because हम सब एक family में ही रहते हैं. So in today's topic we will be discussing about what are the types of family, what is a family, what are the different family life cycles. So before going ahead, let's talk about what is a family. So family is a fundamental unit of society where two or more people are related to each other, either by marriage or blood or adoption, and they all live under a common roof. They share the same kitchen, they have the same source of income. I'm sure all of us live in a family. We have our parents with us, some of them might have their grandparents with us, some of them live in a joint family, whereas some live in a nuclear family. Moving ahead, what is nuclear family? Nuclear family is where people only live as a married couple with their children. No other relation lives in the same roof. So nuclear family consists of a couple and a children. The children can be natural or they can be adopted, but they are a very close-knit group. Whereas joint family is completely different. Joint family is where the parents and the siblings of the couple, the siblings of the parents, the grandparents, all of them live together. So nuclear family is relatively a very small size family, whereas joint family is a large group of family. From this picture, you would be able to identify which of them is a nuclear family and which of them is a joint family. So both nuclear family and joint family have their own advantages and disadvantages. न्यूक्लियर फैमिली के एडवांटेजेस ये हैं कि हमें ज़्यादा प्राइवेसी मिलती है. ट्रेडिशनल सेटअप वाज लाइक जब हम जॉइंट फैमिली में रहते थे, जब हमारे काफ़ी रिश्तेदार एक साथ ही रहते थे एक ही घर के नीचे. लेकिन अब बिकॉज द सिस्टम आर चेंजिंग, people are shifting on to the nuclear family. Nuclear family provides more privacy. It has more economic independence because the number of people are less. Also, nuclear family has less of restrictions because not many people are involved and they are not living together. Whereas, some of the advantages of joint family are that we have a lot of number of people living in the same roof. So even if we are working, there is always someone to take care of the children. Joint family में काम divide हो जाता है, so सारी responsibility घर के एक member पे नहीं आती. Similarly, there are more earning members in the family also. Now, nuclear family and joint family also have their own disadvantages. So similarly, like nuclear family, the disadvantages can be when the parents are working, there is no one to look after the children. The entire responsibility of taking care of the children to do all the household chores is on the parents itself. Whereas some of the disadvantages of joint family can be that there are a lot of people in the house living at the same time. There might be restrictions. Some of them might be jealous of you. Some of them might face complications and arguments. So all these restrictions make the joint family a little disadvantage. So it depends from the kind of personality you have that you might be living in a nuclear family or in a joint family. The next thing that we will be discussing today is the family life cycle. Now, in a family life cycle, every couple goes through 3 stages. The first stage is the beginning stage. The beginning stage has an independent young adult or a newly married couple when they are starting their newly married life. That is usually the beginning stage. The second stage is the expanding stage. Expanding stage starts when the couple has their first child and they take up the responsibility of being a parent. The third stage is the contracting stage. The contracting stage, we can also refer to it as the retirement stage. When people get old and they have retired from their work, they are free of their responsibilities. So let us discuss this in a little more detail. So as you can see in the picture, these are the different lifestyle stages: marriage, parenting, children, when your children become older, and then they have their own children. So the first stage is the beginning stage. In this, they become children, adults become more emotionally, physically, socially, and financially independent. Usually, this stage starts when a person enters their 20s, when they are free of their studies and they are moving towards their careers. Also, a very important part of the beginning stage is marriage. So, during marriage, people form intimate relationships and also they have a shoulder to lean on. Marriage is a very important and a big achievement milestone that people face during the beginning stage. A new member is added to the family and the new member has to adjust according to the newly household terms. The next stage, some of the guidelines to develop a healthy relationship in the beginning stage is that we have to talk to each other continuously. It should not be like कि हम आपस में बात ही नहीं कर रहे. Arguments are a part of life and we should learn to move ahead of those arguments. Then we should listen to each other. So even if someone new has come to our family, we should always give them due importance. We should learn to listen to them as well as their opinions also. Then the third thing is that we should be very, very conscious of our facial expressions. Not to say that a new member has been added into our family. So it's always better if we have a pretty smile on our face. We should be giving them a warm and welcoming environment so that they adjust well in the family. The fourth thing can be we should help each other wherever it is possible. So it's not like कि हम सारा काम एक new member को ही दे दें just because she has been added to the family. We should always seek help from each other and इसमें कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है कि अगर हम उनकी जगह कोई काम करते हैं. It just strengthens the bond. The fourth thing is sharing responsibilities. So make sure that the family should have responsibilities divided equally. Not all responsibilities should lie on one person. Only those things will actually help us to maintain a good relationship, especially in the beginning stage. If someone falls ill in the family, then we should make sure that we have time to look and care for them. Another thing is we have to share plans with the family. So whatever plans we are having for future or maybe in short-term plans, we should always discuss them with everyone whenever we are living in a family, because it's not advisable to think of plans on your own and tell it to everyone on the last minute. And then the last point is express your appreciation. So अगर कोई अच्छा काम करता है तो हमेशा उन्हें appreciate करना चाहिए. These are some of the tips that we can follow to start off with a beginner stage, and also the beginner stage is the foundation of the expanding stage. Now let's just discuss a little detail about the expanding stage. So in the expanding stage, it starts usually when the parents have their firstborn child. Again, this is the most crucial stage in a family life cycle because a child is a big responsibility. So ये responsibility हमें सिर्फ तभी लेनी चाहिए जब हम physically, mentally, emotionally and financially prepared हो. A child is really a new member it just brings a new vibe to the family, and automatically the roles and responsibilities of the husband and wife completely change to becoming a new parent. It is the most challenging stage in the family life cycle. We have to take care of the child. It's important that the child should always have the breastfed milk for the first 6 months, because that is the most appropriate food for an infant, especially in the first 6 months. Also, the parents should make sure that if both the parents are working, there should be someone with the child always. Otherwise, the child gets distressed. So what we can do for that is, we can ask our grandparents to come over and look after the child. Also, we can hire someone trained to look after the child, but make sure that we have to get the background verification done. If nothing is available, then we can also look for the daycare centers where child can be safe, and of course the parents can be free from the relief. So again, in this point of time, joint families are a major blessing, because there is always someone from the family to look after the child. Then the third stage is the contracting stage. Now this is the most relieved stage, because it usually starts when the children can start going out of the house, maybe for their further education, maybe because they're getting married, maybe because they're shifting somewhere else for a new job. So it usually starts when the old couple is left at home. So this is a time where they can actually they are relieved from their stress and their responsibilities. But also, it can be a stressful time for some of the old age couples. Maybe because they are not financially strong, maybe because some of the children might not be there with them to take care of them, and also old age brings a lot of challenges with their own time, because old age people get sick and they also need to take care of each other. Also, the time becomes even more difficult when one of the partner passes away. So we need to make sure that as a family, we should take care of the people, of our grandparents who are there with us, because they need emotional support as well as financial support from the children. The next thing that we will be discussing today is taking care of the family. So, taking care of the family is again very, very important, because we live together. So we are emotionally attached to them. We share our sorrows, we share our happiness, we share our achievements with our family members. कुछ भी प्रॉब्लम होती है, हम हमेशा अपने मम्मी, अपने पापा या अपने भाई, अपने बहन के पास जाते हैं. So automatically we have that care for that person. Similarly, when we are living in a family, there are few things that we need to take care of. Care during pregnancy. So if we know that there is a pregnant woman in the family, we should make sure that she has all the comfort she needs, because pregnancy is a time where a woman as well as the husband goes through a lot in terms of mental and physical changes. So we should make sure that the pregnant woman eats nutritious food at frequent intervals. Also, what we can do as a family is that we can relieve them for their household chore. For example, if they have a responsibility to do dusting of the house or maybe prepare meals of the house, so maybe one of the family member can volunteer to take up that role, so that the pregnant woman will be relieved and gets adequate rest. Also, it is the roles and responsibility of all the family members to make sure that the pregnant woman is always happy and cheerful, because that affects the baby. Also, visiting the doctor regularly is very, very important. They need to monitor each and every phase of the baby, and it is also important that someone should accompany her to the hospital for her regular checkups. So, because pregnancy is a very important time, especially for a mother, we need to make sure that she has all the comfort that she can get and all the support that she can get from the family members. So these are few of the things that you can look upon. They should have 8 hours of sleep. Make sure that they are walking enough. Also, take care of their medicines, their supplements, their vitamins in case the doctor has advised. We should make sure that they're eating healthy. Also, if they're asking for help, we should definitely help them out. Make sure whenever a pregnant woman is there, they should work out. It's not like that you're pregnant so you can be at rest all the time. We need to work out a little bit, but of course, the stress should not be there. Also, maintain your daily diet chart. Take care of your medical checkups and make sure you maintain your hygiene. Then, another phase when we enter is the care during infancy. So, when we're talking about infants, we're talking about children who is a newborn baby as well as till the time the child becomes 1 year old. So, for an infant, that infant is completely dependent on the family for each and everything, because they can't speak, they just have expressions, they just cry, and they just show whatever they need by crying or by laughing or by making facial expressions. So it's very, very important that someone needs to be there with the child throughout. Also, breastfeeding is very, very important till the first 6 months. The breastfeed milk has colostrum in it. Colostrum is a yellow color fluid which has all the important nutrients for the baby. So only breastfed milk is enough for the child till 6 months of age. So we need to make sure that a child goes through the breastfeeding at least till 6 months of age. It also has all the antibodies that are needed for the child to make sure that they are protected from any kind of diseases. Also, during infancy, we need to make sure that they go for their regular vaccinations. Then, we talk about care for young children. Now, of course, when we move from the beginning stage to the expanding stage, the children will grow. And with each of these stages comes their own roles and responsibilities. So young children, when we talk about, when I'm saying young children, I'm talking about children between 2 to 5 year olds. So they are very, very active, they are very energetic, they take up a lot of things from the environment. So growth and development of a child is totally influenced by 2 factors. One factor is the heredity. Heredity is a factor that we get from our parents, mostly the genes. For example, often हमने ये सुना है कि ये तो बिल्कुल अपने पापा की तरह लगता है या बिल्कुल अपनी मम्मी पे गया है. These are the heredity or the genetic factors. The children get their eye color, their height, the skin color, their hair color from their parents. Now, in heredity, we can't do anything because this is genetic. But the thing that we can do for their growth and development is change our environment, because environment consists of a lot of factors. First is early stimulation, second is play, and the third is the kind of discipline we have at home. So, the first thing is early stimulation. Early stimulation means from the beginning itself, we are telling the child what to do and what not to do. We are teaching them the manners, we are appreciating them, we are answering their queries. So also, in the beginning itself, when they are young, we need to make sure that they have adequate amount of nutrition, they have enough opportunities to grow and learn new things, because a family is a social institution from where a child learns first. Till the first 3 years of their life, they only learn from their family and their environment, because they are not going to any play school or any formal school. Secondly, we need to make sure that they are playing enough, because playing gives them all the sorts of development that we need. It aids to their motor development, it aids to their language development, it aids to their cognitive development. So we need to make sure that they have enough playing opportunities. Even if there is no other child in the house, if there is only one child, so the parent should make sure that they need to take out some time to play with the child, because that is what makes them happy. And playing is not only about playing, it's about learning a lot of new things. The third thing is discipline at home. Now, whatever the child sees in the family, it quickly grabs. So अगर आप गुस्सा करते हो अपनी फैमिली में, तो child will pick up that anger. अगर आप आपस में respect से बात करते हो, the child will definitely take that up. So discipline at home is very, very important. Now, when we talk about discipline and parenting styles, there are majorly 3 types of parenting styles. The first type is autocratic disciplining style. In the autocratic disciplining style, the emphasis is laid on restrictions and punishments to follow the parents and directions. So, ये यूजुअली उस टाइप के पेरेंट्स होते हैं जो हर छोटी छोटी बात पे अपने बच्चों पे रिस्ट्रिक्शंस लगाते हैं, पनिश करते हैं अगर उनकी बातें ना मानी जाए तो. ये बिल्कुल भी अप्रिशिएटिव पेरेंटिंग स्टाइल नहीं है, because this is not how children grow up. Children from such families, they do lack self-confidence, they become more anxious, because उन्हें हमेशा यही लगता है कि हम हमेशा गलती ही करते हैं क्योंकि हमारे पेरेंट्स हमें डांटते रहते हैं. We need to make sure that they are given enough amount of freedom. Also, this autocratic disciplining style leads to a low self-esteem in the child, which can affect the child when they grow up. The second type of parenting style is the democratic disciplining style. This is the most apt parenting style that we all should follow. In this type, children are usually allowed to be more independent, but of course, the parent supervision is still there. The children, they get to express their opinions, they get to present their arguments. Also, such children are more self-confident, they have a higher self-esteem. Why? Because they know that their parents are always there. In case they do any mistake, they are not afraid of their parents. They know that the parents will guide them. Whereas, if I compare this to the autocratic disciplining style, it is completely opposite. So, often children hide from their parents because they know that if they tell their parents that they have done something wrong, they know that the parents are going to punish them. So, definitely we need to follow the democratic disciplining style, because in this type, the parents are the child's best friend. And of course, if the child is your best friend, then we need to make sure that they have the right path and they have the right guidance. They don't have to look for opinions from somewhere else. So, this is how a happy family looks like when they follow a democratic parenting style. The third type of parenting style is the permissive disciplining style. In this, the parents are totally unaware about the child's whereabouts. They don't know what the child is doing because they are too busy in their own lives. They don't have time for the child's achievements, they don't have time for the child's mistakes, and they don't really care about what the child is doing and how the child is doing because they are busy maybe in their work life or maybe in their social life. So again, permissive disciplining style is not at all acceptable to have a foundation of a happy family. This is now where we will take a small break and we'll be right back. Thank you.
कोविड-19 यानी कोरोना वायरस देश एवं संपूर्ण विश्व में व्याप्त विषाणु जन्य समस्या। लाखों लोग इस संक्रमण की चपेट में। इसका निदान है जागरूकता के साथ हम और आप स्वयं। कोरोना वायरस के इस संक्रमण से संपूर्ण भारतवर्ष भी एक विकट स्वास्थ्य की परिस्थितियों से जूझ रहा है। भारत सरकार द्वारा गांवों से शहरों तक व्यापक जांच, उपचार और विभिन्न नैदानिक व्यवस्थाएं की गई हैं, लेकिन अभी हमें करना है इससे बचाव। बचाव है आपस में 2 गज की दूरी रखें, मास्क जरूर लगाएं, हाथों को बार-बार साबुन से धोएं और हाँ, आरोग्य सेतु ऐप पर लॉगिन अवश्य करें। घर पर रहें और NIOS की स्व अध्ययन सामग्री से पढ़ते रहें। आपके लिए PM ई-विद्या पर टीवी, रेडियो वाहिनी और मुक्त विद्यावाणी पर ऑडियो कार्यक्रमों का प्रसारण भी NIOS द्वारा किया जा रहा है। आपसे एक ही अनुरोध है, जब भी छींकें, मुंह और नाक को ढकना ना भूलें। भीड़ भाड़ में जाने से बचें और सामाजिक दूरी का पालन करें। और एक बात, जब तक वैक्सीन नहीं आती, तब तक मास्क को ही वैक्सीन समझें। साफ रहें, स्वच्छ रहें और स्वस्थ रहें। 2 गज दूरी, मास्क है जरूरी। किसी भी आपदा की स्थिति में संपर्क करें टोल फ्री नंबर 1075 011 23978046। ईमेल करें ncov2019@gov.in।
प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने। हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने। जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने।
धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो, धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो।
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े, वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो।
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े, वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो।
मित्रों हम उठे और जागे,
मंजिल आने की ध्वनि सुन
बनिए प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने।
शिक्षा परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर
शिक्षा परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर दुनिया में इसके केंद्र बहुत,
कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने, हम अपना जीत स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने। कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने,
Hello learners, welcome to NIOS Studios. I'm Ishani Uppal and today we will be discussing about the topic My Family and I. Today we will discuss in detail about the functions of a family, how to deal with adolescence and what role does a family play in the interpersonal relationships. So, to begin with, we start with the functions of a family. Again, we live in a family and there are more than one people. So, there are their own responsibilities and functions that a family provides. The first and the most important function is protection from any kind of danger. So, anytime we need any help, we need any assistance, whenever we are stuck in any problem, we reach out to our family members. It can be anyone to whom you are very close. It can be your mother, your father, your siblings, anyone. So we always look up to our family whenever we are in danger. Second function of a family is it provides us with the emotional support that any individual needs. Anytime we are sad, anytime we are happy, it is the family members whom we reach out to and we talk about our problems, that we are not having a good time, we are not feeling well, our day was not good today. So our families provides us with that emotional support, they provide us with that care and affection, that everything will be all right. So again, we have someone, it is because of the family that we need to speak up to. We don't have to look out for our friends or maybe our teachers because we know the immediate response will always come from family members. The third function of a family is the financial balance. So we always look up to our parents whenever we need anything. It can be clothes, it can be food, it can be shopping, it can be traveling, it can be anything. So a family provides the financial security to every member of the family. It's not always about the duty of the father to earn money. It can be done in both ways. Both the parents can be working and they can support the family together. Also, another very important function of a family is passing of socio-cultural values. Socio-cultural values because a child learns everything from the family. They learn how to be mannered, they learn how to greet everyone, they learn their languages, they learn about their culture, they learn about their religious belief, everything from their own family. The last and the most important function of a family is recreation. Because India and everywhere we are a developing nation, so we need people to grow. So recreation and that means that a family just legitimates the way a woman can conceive a baby. So recreation is another important aspect of family. A family can increase their name in the society by having children, and their children takes up their family name and creates and takes it for a longer duration. So these are few of the very important functions of a family. Also, a family gives us a unique identity. For example, my name is Ishani Uppal. Uppal is my father's surname. So I have this identity which I have got from my family. Again, without a family, we will not have any identity. The next thing that we'll be talking about today is how to deal with adolescence. So, school-going children, this is the time when we move from a transition phase from being a child to an adolescent. When I'm talking about school-going children, I mean that children within the age group of 8 to 12 years. They are just starting to become more independent. They are just starting to experience new things in school or maybe in their personal lives. So it is the duty of the parents to make sure that they are always available for the children. The parents should also ensure that it is not only the duty of the school to take care of their academic tasks. It is also the role of the parent to make sure that they are equally involved in the child's academics as well as in their co-scholastic life. If the child wants to try out new options, the parents should always make sure that they give that experience to the child. As they transition from the school child to being an adolescent, the phase and the transition has to be very, very smooth. Adolescent is a time which is full of storm and stress. Also, it is the most important time in the life of an individual because this is the time they form their personal identity. Adolescents are usually very confused because they have a lot of choices in front of them. The choices can be related to their career, it can be related to their personal choices, they are having biological changes in their body, hormonal changes in the body, as well as people around them also start viewing them from a different perspective. When we talk about adolescence, again, this time is a lot more stressful for children. Also, we as parents need to make sure that we need to provide them with the utmost care and guidance. So, to deal with adolescence, we should make sure that the parents are very, very welcoming. They should not at all punish the child because if they do so, then the children will start hiding things. Also, adolescence is a confusing time because they are no more in the children's stage, and also they don't have that much freedom to be an adult. So they get confused because parents always say that you are big enough, you should be responsible for your own situations. आपको इस चीज़ का ध्यान रखना चाहिए या नहीं रखना चाहिए क्योंकि अब आप बच्चे नहीं हो. Often उन्हें ये बातें सुनने को मिलती हैं. Similarly, अगर वो कोई फेवर मांगे, जैसे उन्हें कहीं जाना है अपने फ्रेंड्स के साथ या बाहर घूमने, so parents will say that no, you are not an adult right now, you're not that old that you can go out and take your own decisions. So again, all these statements confuse the child, and this is why they are more confused that are they in an adult or are they in still a child phase. So also, the peer influence is very much during the adolescence. They are more attached to their friends and other opposite sex rather than being close to the parents. The adolescents, they want to be alone in their own rooms or rather spend time with their friends and not with the families. Again, this peer influence can be in both ways. It can be a good influence or it can be a bad influence. So again, as parents, we need to make sure that we have a constant guidance for them. We should not try to control them, because if we do try to control them, then they will be completely rebellious. So they tend to challenge their own value systems and the things that the parents have taught us. So dealing with adolescence this stage comes with their own challenges. Also, this is the time when they are confused about their career choices, because they have to take up their streams in class 11th and also think about their future perspective. Also, parents have this habit of comparing their children with others. So this is something that is that needs to be completely avoided. So when we're dealing with adolescents, make sure that we need to give them enough independence, but at the same time, have a constant guidance, have a constant security over them, just to check with them, talk to them regularly, and ask if they need any help, and give them that assurance that yes, we are there, that they should not be afraid of their parents. Okay, so few tips that we can follow in dealing with adolescence is set rules and limits, but we should also know that when to be flexible. It's not like कि आपने एक rule बांध दिया है तो आप वो ही follow करोगे. हमें time के साथ, situation के साथ उन rules को change भी करना आना चाहिए. Then the second most important tip is we have to trust the adolescent. It's not like we have to constantly call up their friends to check whether they are lying or not, because then the child will feel that my parents don't trust me at all. So trusting them is very, very important. Also, parents must learn to listen to the concerns of the teenager. So of course, parents are also very busy in their own life, but make sure that every now and then you take out at least a little time to spend with your teenager child, so that because they have a lot to share, they experience a lot of things every day. So if you are there to listen to their if you are there to listen to their views, whatever experiences they are having, then it just strengthens the bond with the parent. Also, giving them that confidence and giving them that opportunity that it's okay, go and try this out. It just increases their own confidence. It increases their own self-esteem, because they know that the parents are there at their back. Also, when we constantly talk to the children, it often reduces the generation gap, because the lack of communication can lead to the children thinking that our parents don't understand us at all. So these are few of the tips that you can follow whenever we deal with adolescents. So after this comes the settling up of grown-up children. So when we talk about grown-up children, we're talking about children above 18 and 19 years, when they want to take up their own career choices. Parents should not focus on being rigid for the career choices of their child. Let them do whatever they want to do. So we need to make sure that parents are equally supportive. Also, make sure that they get time to time guidance for each and every career counseling that they need. If they need any sort of assistance from the parents should be there to help them out. Again, we should not compare our children with each other. We should not force them for any kind of situation, be it a particular career choice or a particular college or maybe a marriage. So settling them, because they are now in the adult stage, so we should give them that much of freedom, and we should not follow our own impositions on them. Then another thing that as adolescents we need to take care of is the care for elderly. Now, again, for elder people, it is very difficult time because they don't really have anything else to do. They are completely retired from their jobs, and they just have, some of them might have their social lives, but some of them might not have their social life. Also, old age comes with a lot of medical illness. So as an adolescent, we need to make sure that we are taking care of the elder people in our family, be it our grandparents, be it anyone else who is living with us. How can we do that? We can just take out 5 to 10 minutes of our daily schedule and talk to them about how their day was. Also, make sure that they're having their medicines on time. Also, we should not ignore them. If we have achieved anything, they should be the first one to know, because that will just give them that confidence that they are still valued in the family. So caring for the elder people is again very important. Often this responsibility should come from everyone. It's not only the responsibility of the parent to take care of their parents. It is also the responsibility of the children as well as the adolescent, because in a family, every person has a role and they have their own responsibilities. So now we'll be discussing about the role of a family in the interpersonal relationships. So when I talk about interpersonal relationships, I'm talking about relationship with one person to other. So it can be a relationship between a husband and a wife. It can be a relationship between a child and a mother. It can be a relationship between a mother-in-law and her daughter-in-law. So every person has a different role. For example, there is not one role that a person has in a family. If you take an example of me, I am a daughter as well as I am a sister. Also, maybe later on, I'll be a wife and a mother. So again, in a family, the roles and responsibilities continuously change. So how does a family help in that interpersonal relationship? So, some of the factors that actually contribute are a clear understanding of one's duties and responsibilities. So, make sure that when you're living in a family, everyone should have a clear role and responsibility. It's not like that someone is younger, so they will not have any responsibilities. And also, it is the duty of every child as well that as they grow up, they should take up their own responsibilities. So set clear instructions and expectations from each and every family member. The second thing that we can do to improve family relationships is having empathy towards all the family members. So even if someone is young, we need to listen to their point of views as well. We should not just let them go that they are too young to pitch in their ideas. So make sure that every person in the family has their own voice and their opinions are being heard. Also, a good interpersonal relationship by becoming sensitive to what other person's needs and wants. A very common example for that can be, let's say your mother cooks for everyone at home. When she is not well, what you need to take care of her is give her appropriate amount of rest. At that time, the husband or maybe the children can take up their responsibility. So make sure that within time to time, if someone needs some kind of assistance, the other person should be ready to take up their role and responsibility. It should not be like, this is not my job and I am not going to do it. Another thing is having an effective communication in the family is very important. Again, the best practice to do this is having dinner together. Dinner is one meal where the entire family can sit together and talk. So, make sure that you're having your dinner meals together so that everyone shares their daily experiences with everyone. Again, avoid watching televisions during dinner time and set a particular time slot that all of them will have a no phone policy for one particular period of time. so that we know what is going on in the family. Is anyone facing any issue or not? Then, the last and the final thing that we'll be discussing about is values. So, every child learns the values, whatever they have, from their family. It can be the value of honesty, it can be the value of trustworthiness, it can be a value of responsibility, it can be any value. So, we need to make sure that we need to practice what we preach. It's not like we'll tell the child that you have to do this, but at the same time हम वो चीज़ खुद ही follow नहीं कर रहे. We need to set examples for our children so that they grow up to become more independent and a good citizen. The last thing that I would like to discuss is the gender discrimination that may happen in your family. Again, gender discrimination is one topic that it starts from home. So make sure that there is no gender discrimination. Even though you're an adolescent, you can address those issues. How can we do that? So it's not only the responsibility of the mother to cook. Maybe the husband can also cook few of the days, or the son can be asked to go and get water for the guests. It's not always the duty of the girl. Also, giving the girls and women of the family equal opportunity and say in family decisions, again, will promote in cancelling the gender discrimination. So also, what children will learn in their family right now will be the same values that they will preach in the society when they grow up. So again, we need to discuss these issues and we need to focus on these issues effectively. Also, in the end, I would just like to say that a family is a society which provides you with unconditional love, care and support. So make sure that we should appreciate this and take care of our families. Thank you.
कोविड-19 यानी कोरोना वायरस देश एवं संपूर्ण विश्व में व्याप्त विषाणु जन्य समस्या